Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be hanging the two 4-inch gates that we've been working on. We're also going to be finding out how much each of the gates weigh. If you're new here, thanks for being here. My name's Austin Ross. I enjoy welding, I enjoy fabricating. I mostly enjoy working off of my welding truck. I also enjoy drinking lots of coffee. So if you're a coffee connoisseur, you'll fit in great here. I also enjoy sharing some of the projects that we work on with you in hopes that it helps in whatever you're doing, whether that's business or hobby, whatever that may be. If you're interested in these types of things, make sure and subscribe and ring that bell to get notified when I post a new video every Friday at 5 o'clock Central Time. Real quick, I did want to let you know about the Black Friday sale that we're going to be having in the arosswelding store. So if you're looking for some gift ideas, it might be a good place to check and a good time to check. The sale will be from November 26th through November 29th. That's Black Friday through Cyber Monday. We will be putting together some gift bundles that will include the pipe fence course. Some bundles will include the pipe fence course. We're gonna open it back up for enrollment. So there will be gift bundles with the pipe fence course in it, and there will be some without, I believe. There is going to be a limit on the gift bundles with the courses in them, but there will not be a limit on the pipe fence course alone. Like if you just want to enroll in the pipe fence course, there's not a limit to that number. Go check those out if you're interested in some gift ideas. Also check out the newly added brass items. Yes, these are brass dice. I'm super excited about these. These are like probably my ultimate favorite item that's in the store. I don't know why, it is just so cool. We kind of have a theme in the Aross Welding store. The circle burners are made of brass. Our brass soapstone holders are made of brass. We got brass snap welding shirts. But anyway, super cool gift idea if you ask me. If you want to get notified when the sale starts, you can either get on my email list at arosswelding.com or you can text the word shop to 405-643-7176 and we'll send you a text whenever the sale opens up. Now that we got our gates loaded, I'm just doing a double check, scan the shop, scan the trailer, think of what's in the truck, making sure I don't forget anything. It's one of them days where I definitely feel like I'm going to forget something. It's because I haven't been out on a project in a while. I've been here building these gates and I've been in my shop just working on projects. I just finished up a little aluminum divider for a horse trailer. I'll show you that here in a minute. And I sometimes rob tools off my truck or use my hood that's in my truck because it's got the little flip action versus this hood that doesn't. I need to get another one now that I'm doing this stuff because I really enjoy having that protection so I don't get stuff in my eyes. So anyway, I always got to make sure I have everything back on my truck whenever I head out to location. So yeah, we got our gates loaded. We got hinge material. In other words, a piece of flat to weld onto the hinge that's already on the gate. That's a huge something that's unlikely to forget, but I made sure I got it. Got my gate jacks loaded, I got my gin pole so I can hang the gates. I got string line, I got levels. I think I can get by. I think I'm good to go. This is what it looks like now. And this is what it looked like before. But it's all beat up and it won't slide in all the way. Ooh, look what the post office just dropped off. Some more welding shirts. Brass snap welding shirts are probably already in stock by the time you're watching this video, hopefully. If not, real soon. Because whenever we get them in, we put them in our own packaging. We do that with a lot of our products. So anyway, we got it with it just being me and Kayla. We've been talking about it here lately, or if you've been following along, you know that we are busy and we're looking for help. And that's one of the reasons why it takes so long for stuff to get back in stock, because we have to inventory stuff to make sure how much we got before we put it on the website and then put it in our own packaging. So with just both of us, we get behind real easy, so weeks just literally fly by. So anyway, that's exciting if you've been waiting on the welding shirts. Now I'm fixing to pull up to this job to hang these gates. Oh man, this looks even better during the fall for some reason. I do not know why, but it just does. All right, so on these gates, I'm going to be offsetting them. So instead of going right in here, like, within this 8" right here, they're actually going to be behind this post from the road. That way, whenever both gates are open, we've got this full length to drive through. So the way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna use this square, and I'm gonna, luckily I've already got marks here from whenever I laid all this out, so I can just use that mark again. I'm gonna find half of 8 3/4, which is 4 3/8. So I'm gonna put my square on 4 3/8, and then from this edge of my square, I'm gonna measure over 2.5 inches. I've already got my mark there, but just wanted to show you how I had done this. 2.5 inches, and then that should be, as long as my plate that I put on, that I'm gonna weld on them hinges, is sticking essentially square with this opening. As long as it's sticking out this way, as square as possible, and my hinge is on right here, that should leave my, our opening with the full amount allowed, if you will. I've got that done on both sides. Now I'm going to get my 4-foot level and then make the mark all the way down. Now whenever it comes to hanging gates, I like to make my marks level with the world, no matter what this post is doing, because I want my gates to hang level with the world in hopes that it don't swing on its own, or it doesn't fall because of gravity. Now if those are cut, let's go ahead and pick them up this way a little bit. Set my gate jacks underneath it, rock and roll. So I put this on here to hold like normal size gates, and now that I'm hanging this 4-inch pipe, this is getting in the way, so I'm gonna have to cut this off for this project. No big deal. That's why we call it cutting. So as you can see here, hanging these gates takes a little bit of time and patience. I like to use several methods, as in I like to use a level, I like to use a string line, I like to use my eyeball, I like to use a measuring tape. I like to check several things several times and make sure that this gate is going to look good but also swing properly. And so it is just very time consuming to do this, but it is well worth all the time and patience spent to do it, to make sure it is absolutely appealing to the eye. If you follow along, you know that I talk about that a lot with fence, is just making sure that it looks good to the eyeball, because even if something is square does not mean that it is going to look good or look like it doesn't have a dog leg in it. Sometimes when something is square or level, it looks off. So all that to say, it's just very important to me to make sure that these gates are going to be appealing to the eye once I'm done hanging them. Now, let these gate jacks down and see what the gate does. See if it even swings. Alright, so what I'm saying here is I put a full weld on the back side of these hinges, which is kind of abnormal for me because I normally put just a couple of good tacks on gate, like normal size gates. But here I put a weld on, like a full weld on the back side, and I think just one on the other side. I ended up putting some more weld, I'm pretty sure. Just for those of you that may not follow along or don't know much about how I hang gates, is I normally put tacks and I do what I call a test swing to make sure it swings good before I weld the whole hinge out. That way, in case anything goes wrong, I don't have to cut and grind a whole weld. It just cuts down on the time if I have to change anything. But since this gate is so heavy, I decided to go ahead and put some more weld on it. So I went ahead and put some more weld on this hinge before I messed with it anymore. And if you notice, I made sure and put my gate jack back underneath the gate. Anytime I'm welding on the hinges on gates, especially this heavy, I like to put my gate, at least one gate jack, back underneath the gate just to make sure it doesn't fall while I'm welding it. Go ahead, take a guess. How much do you think this gate weighs? Let me know in the comments. So like I said at the beginning of this video, I felt like I was forgetting something. Lo and behold, I forgot my grease gun. And these style of hinges, they have a grease zerk built in, and it makes a 10 times difference in the way it swings whenever you actually put grease in them versus the WD-40 that I had to use in this situation. So I ended up adding another plate to this hinge, as you can see here. Normally I just would have put one plate, but I had to add another one because I literally could not leave. Like, I would not have been able to sleep at night. This particular night, if I would have just left one plate, I had to put another one on, and it stiffened it up, I mean, 10 times more than what it was with just the one plate. This is 1/2 inch plate that I used. All right, so if my calculations are correct, these gates weigh approximately 450 to 460 pounds per gate. That's a heavy gate. It's funny because these gates were almost easier in a sense. They were easier in their own way to hang because they were heavier. They didn't flex, they didn't like move as bad. Like, once I let my chain fall down and set it on my jack stands, that thing just stood there. Like, I could tap the jacks to move the gate, and I could, wherever I moved it, it stayed. So it made it a little bit easier, but it also just makes for a BA, makes for an awesome entrance. I love the way it turned out. My advice for this week is priorities. Prioritizing things to do in your life is, to me, one of the biggest things that helps you get somewhere. And I can relate to this because for the longest time, I don't know, like, I guess before I started pipelining, I was prioritizing years ago, whenever I worked at that shop right after high school. My priority, subconsciously, I didn't even know that I was doing it, but subconsciously I was prioritizing building a truck, as in getting a 1-ton, getting a bed for it, getting a weld machine, putting a welding truck together. That was my priority, and that's why I had one at such a young age, at 17 or 18, however old I was. It's because I was prioritizing it. That's what my focus was. Every time I thought of something, or every time I made a little bit of money, that's where my money went. Like, that's what I wanted, so I was prioritizing that. And the older I got, I didn't, I guess I had some subconscious priorities. So I'm just bringing that up as my advice, because the older you get and the maybe a little bit confused you get as far as what direction you want to go in life or in business or whatever, sometimes it's hard to prioritize because you're not sure, or you want to do several things. That's one of our issues, but we have so much going on that, like, it's hard to prioritize because they all need a little bit of attention. But it's so important to prioritize stuff if you want that to get done. That brings me to my next point about us having a lot going on, is sometimes prioritizing stuff feels like you're dropping the ball on other stuff, or other stuff doesn't get done, and that's true by yourself. You know, at some point, if you want to do a lot in a small amount of time, you got to have help, you got to have a team. All that to say, priorities are important, and whatever it is that you're wanting or needing to do or feeling led to do in life, make time for it. A common thing that we all say is, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I'm guilty. I don't have time for that, which is probably true in what I've been used to doing throughout the week. But if I need to do that, or I absolutely want that to happen, I have to prioritize it. There's only so many things that can happen in 24 hours, or so many things that can happen in 5 days. So you have to, you know, instead of doing this day, you have to move whatever you want to prioritize in front of it. So therefore you're making time for it. But that does mean something else kind of gets knocked out of the line for a little bit. So priorities have just been on my mind a lot lately. I think a lot lately because of just how busy we are and everything. So I just wanted to share with you about how important I believe priorities are. So priorities. Prioritize what you want and make time for it. Don't say, I don't have time. Just make time for it. If you do that for a good year, you'll look back on that past year and realize, holy cow, I got a lot done towards what I wanted to get done because I was focused on what I wanted/needed to do. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my website, arosswelding, for gift ideas, tools, resources, digital prints, all kinds of stuff over there on my website. If you want to get notified when the Black Friday sale opens up, you can get on my email list at arosswelding.com, or you can text the word shop to 405-643-7176. I hope y'all have an awesome Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for being here. And remember, learn something every day. 22, it's my lucky number.